Hey guys, I got a new video for you today, and we're going to be looking at a new flashlight that I just received in the mail. This is from KeySmart, and if you guys are familiar with KeySmart, they make those key organizers that kind of minimize the bulk. So I always like when companies kind of go outside the norm and try new products. So I figured, KeySmart minimizes the bulk of your keys as part of your EDC. So what else do a lot of people carry in their EDC? And that's a flashlight. So it's only natural that they would try their hands at a flashlight. So when they reached out to me and asked if I would be interested in testing out this Nano Torch Twist, I looked at it and I was pretty intrigued by the design and the features of it. So I asked them to go ahead and send it over. So this is going to be a first impressions. This is pretty much the way that you get the flashlight when you order it. It comes in this package here. So obviously the first thing that you can see is because of the name Twist, what it does is that the head of the flashlight actually pivots. So you have a regular flashlight like this, and then you can pivot the head to almost a 90-degree angle. So that gives you a lot of different usage of the flashlight itself, primarily paired with the magnetic base that it has. So this allows you to attach it to any metallic surface, and you can pivot this head to angle the light at whatever angle you might need it. So obviously this is one example that a lot of people that review flashlights use, especially with magnetic bases, is if you have this in your car and you're working on your engine at night, you can go ahead and attach it magnetically to the hood of your car, and then using the pivoting head, you can actually point the light wherever it is that you need it. So that's a really good option to have. Now, another thing that I was pretty intrigued by was the fact that it says press and hold to turn on. You don't know how many times I've had my flashlight in my pocket and I accidentally bump into it and turn the light on, and it either starts getting hot or I don't notice and then the battery runs out. So I like the fact that you actually have to press and hold to turn the light on, especially in an EDC flashlight. So this is the packaging again. Because it is a rechargeable battery, you do get a micro USB cord. Now I know a lot of companies out there that have the magnetic base have the proprietary charging that you can just attach it to the charger and charge it that way. But the only problem with that is it is easier, but you have to have that proprietary charger with you in order to be able to charge the flashlight. So the fact that this still comes with the micro USB is good because you can still readily find those pretty accessible. So what I'll do now is I'll go ahead and open up the packaging, take everything out, and show it to you guys. Alright, so here's everything that was in the packaging. Obviously the flashlight itself, the charger, and then you have this little user manual. Now I always recommend that you take a look at the user manual, especially with lights that have multiple modes, so that way you know how to access those modes. So right here you have an exploded view of the flashlight, which is pretty cool. It gives you like all the little ins and out of it, some features, and then you have an operating map, which is really nice. I like the way that they designed that, or they laid it out so you can see the different modes. And then in the back you actually have a breakdown of the modes, how many lumens and runtime and stuff like that. So if you guys want to pause that and read it, you can go ahead and do that. Now, again, just go through the manual. A lot of these flashlight companies make it really simple, very easy to get through, usually 1 or 2 pages. So I always recommend that you read it. So again, taking a look at the charger here, it is a micro USB charger, and it has a little rubber band here that holds it together. I like the fact that it's flat. It's about, I'd say about a foot long, maybe, no, not that long, probably like 6 or 8 inches long. So again, long enough to be able to just plug this up to a power brick or a battery bank or something like that and charge up the flashlight. Again, micro USB. And then the light itself, it's fairly small, as you guys can see here in my hand. And again, this is not going to be a full-blown review, just to kind of, first impressions. I like the weight of it. It's not too heavy. I like the feel of it too. Again, you have a little branding right there, KeySmart. You do have that magnetic base at the bottom there. That definitely comes in handy. Usually flashlights that I have that, I end up using it one way or another. Again, if you want to go hands-free, you can, attach this to a magnetic surface and you're able to do that. And also the fact that you have that pivoting head is a big factor that when it comes coupled with that magnetic base. Again, the pivoting head, you can actually pivot it to different angles and then all the way up down to a 90-degree angle there. Now this is good, especially if you're not by a magnetic surface and you're just going to put it on a flat surface. You can go ahead and do that and go hands-free. Now, if I were to remove this pocket clip and it would be a regular flashlight like this, focused, then you do have the the opportunity for it to roll off the table, especially if it's not a very flat surface. So the fact that you can just pivot that head and put it like that, that's pretty good with me. Now, speaking of the pocket clip, it's a nice and sturdy pocket clip, but this is probably just from first impressions, my only con on the flashlight as it is, just the positioning. And again, this is based on how I use my flashlights. I would consider this like an EDC flashlight, something that I would carry in my pocket, but I would prefer for the flashlight to sit further in the pocket and not have so much of it sticking out. Now, the way that this pocket clip is located, so if you put this into your pocket, you're going to have this much of the flashlight sticking out. So for that reason, if I am going to be using the pocket clip, I probably would not be using this light as an EDC light on my person. I would either keep it in my vehicle or in an EDC bag or a bailout bag or something like that, just to have it readily accessible. But because it sticks out so much from the pocket, it would be uncomfortable for me. I'd get it snagged on things and stuff like that. I wish they would have the capability of putting it maybe like over here, so pretty much only this much of the flashlight is sticking out. That would be ideal for me. So again, if I were to carry this, I would probably remove the pocket clip and just slide it into my pocket. But with the pocket clip, again, I would probably put it into a bag or something like that. Now, one of the reasons that I mentioned reading the user manual is because this light from the factory, as you get it, it actually has a little plastic insert in the back here, so that prevents the battery from making contact and turning on in transit. So it's always good to know that, because if you go to use it, you might think that there's something wrong if it's not turning on. Here is the battery. This is a 750 milliamp 14500 high capacity lithium ion rechargeable battery, and the way that you recharge the battery is through the micro USB port there, with either the included micro USB charger or any micro USB charger. So it does have the two little LEDs on the top there to kind of let you know what's going on when it's charging and then when it's fully charged. I'm not a big fan of the rechargeable batteries where you would charge the actual battery, because unless you have more than one, the flashlight is left unusable while the battery is charging. So, if it's something that you're going to be using, maybe picking up another one would be a good idea. That way, while one is charging, you still have the ability to use your flashlight. You do have an O-ring right there, which is going to seal it nice as you put the tail cap back on. There we go. All right. And then getting down to controlling the flashlight itself, again, this is, if you press it, nothing's going to happen, which I like. Again, you're not going to worry about accidentally pressing it in your pocket or something like that. So what I'll do is I'll pivot the head, and then if you press and hold, the light will come on. And again, you have a couple different modes. This is going to be low, and that's going to be 100 lumens. I wish the low was a little lower, maybe like 25 or 50 lumens, just because if you want very minimal light with more runtime, obviously you'd want a lower lumen output. But again, low is 100. If you press it again, it goes to medium, which is 250. And then if you press it again, it goes to high, which is 600. And this is the maximum output. 600 is pretty much perfect for the majority of EDC tasks. It's nice and bright. And, you can do whatever you need with that. And then if you press it again, it just goes back down to low. So medium and then high. Now, if you press it and hold, it'll turn off, which is really nice. Now, you do have what they call hidden modes. And I like the fact that the two hidden modes are not part of your regular modes. For the most part, I wouldn't find myself using the majority of the hidden modes in a lot of my flashlights, but when they are part of the low, medium, high, and then you go into those, you have to cycle through them as you're trying to get to them. So I like the fact that they made it a little differently. So from any mode, let's go ahead and turn it on. If you press and hold, it'll go into the hidden mode, and there it is. So strobe is one of the hidden modes, and then if you press it again, it'll go into SOS, and that's the other hidden mode. Again, I would probably never use strobe or SOS. Strobe maybe once in a while here and there, but SOS pretty much never. So if you press it again, it'll turn off. And then if you press and hold, it'll go back down to whatever the minimal mode is, so low, medium, and high. So I would normally use high on the majority of my flashlights, maybe low once in a while, and very rarely strobe. So I like the fact that the regular modes and the hidden modes are separate, so I know that I'm not going to have to cycle through them as I try and use them. And the good thing is it also has a memory, so it will come on the last mode that you used it in low, medium, or high. So I would keep it in high, and that way I know that every time I use it, it's going to come back on in high. So first impressions on the light, I like it. I like the size of it. I like the form factor of the pivoting head and the fact that you can pretty much put it at many different angles. I like the fact that the head doesn't pivot both ways because that minimizes the wear of it. Excuse me. If you were to pivot on both directions, after a while it would just get loose. So you just pivot it one way and then it stops right there at the 90 degrees, and then just pivot it the other way, and then you have it where you need it. So all in all, I think it's a pretty good flashlight. Again, the pocket clip, to me, it would be best served in another position, but again, that's a personal preference. So what I'll do is I'll leave a link below to their site in case you guys want to check out some more information on the Nano Torch Twist from KeySmart. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Thanks.